Now, Associated British Foods, one of the country's biggest food producers and, of course, the owner of Primark, says it expects earnings across its businesses to be higher in the first half of this financial year. Now, as well as owning Primark, AB Foods also owns various brands such as Ovaltine, Ryvita, Twinings and Jordan's. It also owns major sugar, agriculture and ingredients businesses. Now, while it's expecting profits from Primark and groceries to be higher than in the same period last year, it has warned it will make less from its sugar production. Well, let's speak to Kate Hardcastle, a retail analyst who joins us from Leeds, I think. Kate, good to see you. So, what do you make of the differences in where the money's coming from for AB Foods?
Well, I think they've done generally well, and a lot of retailers are always anxious for the ABF results, which is quite strange really, but it contains that nugget of information of how Primark is doing, who've come as a discounter to the high street and really shaken up the fortunes of a lot of retailers, particularly those in fashion and homewares. So that's always interesting, and we can see from those that Primark have continued to do well. I think many people are waiting for them to have had their day, but there shows no signs of that whatsoever. And I think the magic in that is that Primark are working very well to try and add value into the offer. Rather than just having reduced prices, cheaper prices, they're looking to partnerships with big movie brands and trying to make their turnover of product in terms of fashion to market, bringing fashion to market even speedier so that the consumer gets exactly what they want. In the rest of the offering, I think the challenge to this very large organisation is indeed our awareness of our health and the sugar offering, that we as consumers are getting more and more information about how we should be doing the best for ourselves, for our families, in what we consume, and the hidden sugars in a lot of ingredients.
It's interesting because you mentioned the changing habits around sugar, and certainly in the last few months we've been hearing a lot about people trying to be a bit more conscious about fast fashion and the impact of that on the environment, on climate, for example. And do you think that that could be a potential risk in the coming months and years for Primark, which has, as you say, that fast fashion model?
Certainly there's more awareness of it, and we know that last week we were just talking about perhaps there was this challenge to include a levy, a 1p charge per item, because of the huge landfill issues. I mean, we've definitely got into a disposable mentality with our fashion, and a lot of people consuming high amounts of it, but they're not wanting to keep it, they're just wanting to get rid of it, and that's the fast fashion element. What seems to be the case though is that the consumers that are highly motivated to get a lot of that disposable fashion don't have ethical and environment really as high up in the priority list as when they're selecting the retailers that they buy from. Perhaps we can put more onus back on the retailers themselves to make sure that they're meeting as many requirements as we as consumers would want from them in terms of how they do source the products. But one thing's for sure, when you get an item so economically, they're certainly going to have been a very small percentage of the cost perhaps delivered back into environmental projects.
OK, Kate, thanks very much. Kate Hardcastle there.